Hey y'all, this is TCA Gaming, and in this video I'm going to go over a CGC graded card return. And at the very end of it, at the end, I'm going to show you guys cards that I previously had graded by PSA. I didn't agree with the grade, so I cracked them out and then I had them graded at CGC, and we will see the results. There weren't a lot of cards, but there were a few in there. Most of them were decent cards that I thought could potentially do well with an upgrade if I could get a bump in one or two grades. But anyways, we are going to start off with the most of the bulk that I had in the submission. It was 400 cards total. Some of these cards I submitted a lot of, some of them I only submitted one of, and so you're going to see if there was more than one, the best and the worst, you know, that I had out of the grades. So let's start into that. There we go. Oh, before I get too far along, my hand, it was burned yesterday. I'm trying to clean off our road. It was 5 degrees yesterday morning, and you know, it got all the way up to like 38, something like that. So, but that wasn't warm enough to clean out our road, so we still have like 2 inches of like straight ice below the snow that we were just hit with. And so I was taking my tractor, which is a 555A. It's not a huge tractor, but it weighs about 14,000 pounds. It's an 8-foot bucket, and I was trying to, you know, just scrape up the ice on our driveway so that we could get out. And it was working for a little bit there. And just to give you an idea, like I have the bucket, you know, pointed down into the ice, and I'm doing a wheelie with this thing trying to scrape up the ice, and it still in many places was not coming up. But anyways, it just stopped working. And so when I went to check the gas and check a few of the fluids, I grabbed the exhaust with my hand like a dummy. And so I did burn my hand. I do apologize for like some of these scaly looking areas on these 3 fingers, as well as like my thumb. I did grab those. These should be fine. It hurt, it burned, you know, at the moment. But I think because of the calluses that are kind of like in these areas and right here, it's going to be okay. But I do have to leave my hand wrapped because you can kind of see where some of it is. But it's a little bit worse underneath here. I'm going to try to keep it turned down so you guys aren't grossed too much by it. But it's got some silver on it, and it's happening right before I got to shake some hands, go figure, right? But so it is a little gross in there, but mostly you'll be looking at it like this. Just know that my hands are burned. That's the only reason I got this on here. And it might get worse as the skin dies, but I'm not in pain at all right now, thankfully. I am very happy with the way that it hurt very much so at the beginning. I did jump right into the snow, but now it's fine, and I don't feel any pain at all. So let's start off with what we have here. We have some Black Star promos. I think I opened up a package of 25. I graded quite a few of these. I don't think I graded all of them. Might have set some for raw to sell on eBay, and then I sent some off to be graded. This says the lowest I got was a 10, but actually I got an 8 in here. I think it shows it in a different place because this was a singular one that was graded. So I do apologize for the duplication there. But yeah, I got a 10 there. Did grade one of these Pikachus from the illustration contest that you could get off of Pokemon Center. You can get it with the Feraligatr and one other card. I can't remember what it is. I think it was 3 cards. Might have only been 2. But I know you at least get the Feraligatr. But I got a Gem Mint 10 on that. Did send in some more of the Mew EX. Pretty rough on this one. Got a 7. Most of the cards that I graded that were this one got a 9 or 8.5. I did get a few 9.5s and a handful of 10s. No pristines. Continue to avoid that. I did grade many of the metal cards. My metal cards did not do as good as they typically have in the past. I did get, I think, at least 1 pristine, but a lot of 9s and 8.5s. I did get a handful of regular Gem Mint 10s, but in the past, these have graded much easier. Like the 7.5, I think it was a 7.5 because it shows some of the gold where it's not centered onto the card well, but most of these were, I mean, they are in good shape, but I think maybe they're starting to count off a little bit more for how the metal is centered up on it. There is a pristine, so I did at least get one of those. Sent in quite a few of the Mega Evolution Elite Trainer Box Alakazams. Lowest graded was a 9. Highest was a 10. Almost all of them were 9s or Gem Mint 10. This may have been my only pristine, but I can't remember for sure. There may have been a couple of those. Did send in the Riolu. These did okay. They didn't do quite as... They weren't quite as consistent as the Alakazam. Man, these just keep falling over in here. Anybody else try to put graded cards in a shoebox, and if they don't have the sleeve on, they just constantly fall over. But anyways, got lowest grade was an 8.5. Highest was a pristine 10. Submitted quite a few more of the Riolu, but there were, I want to say, there was a handful of 10s, but there were a lot of 9s. Got a 10 on that Reverse Holo Espeon. Got a pristine 10 on the Team Rocket's Mimikyu. Just thought these were kind of cool looking cards. There's a Zacian regular gem at 10. Can't remember if I pulled that in the video recently. Charizard EX pulled the 8. Of course, that's not the grade I want to see, but you know, probably because it's got a few white dots around it. Did send in I think it was like 4 or 5 of these Mews. One got an 8.5, and then look at this. One did get a pristine. I don't think I had any regular gem mint 10s, but one popped all the way up to a pristine. So big hit there. I submitted quite a few of the Team Rocket Mewtwo EX. Overall, this is probably one of the cards that did the best on the submission. Not a high pristine rate, but I did have a decent handful there, maybe because of how many I submitted. I think I submitted close to 100 of these. Lots of regular gem mint 10s and a decent handful of pristine 10s. There's the pristine. I submitted a Volcanion, hoping to pull a 10, put this in my personal, but pulled the 9. It's like I think with Volcanion, I'm gonna just have to just buy the pristines because they're not going to be that expensive, but I keep not getting the pristine. Here's that 8 Scyther I was telling you about. I did have a few that graded less than 10, and then I did have a few that graded pristine 10. So overall, these did really well. The Scyther, definitely one of the better grades. There's a nice Absol, mint 9, Surfing Pikachu, mint 9. A lot of sub 10 cards on this submission, but still quite a few regular gem mint 10s. Of course, you want to see more, but it's not always going to happen. I'm trying to juggle these stacks here without having one side fall over. If I lean my leg one way, it'd be okay. This is a nice grade here. Got an amazing rare pristine 10 with the Reshiram. Got the regular gem mint 10 with the Mareep. I did have 2 of these. Both got the 9 for the Pika. Mega Venusaur 7.5. Of course, that's not a grade you want to get. But did have some pristines, not too many. Most were 9s and 10s. If you guys remember that Fossil 1999-2000 pack, I did grade some of the commons and uncommons. Got a 9 on the Ammonite, 10 on the Kabuto. Cloyster dropped to 7.5. Wasn't exactly sure why. These are still kind of cold from being outside, even though I've had them out now for an hour because I pulled them out just to sort out, the duplicates and stuff. They're still really cold, so they condensate pretty quickly. I'm going to say it's this bottom corner here. If you look at it from one angle, it just looks like one dot, but if you hit it at the right angle, it looks like the whole corner. So I'm going to say that one corner dropped it 2.5 points. Got a Krabby, 9.5. Sand Slash with a 9. These are just, none of these grades are that great, but, still pretty solid, near mint, that kind of thing. Grimer, Mysterious Fossil. Of course, I would have loved to seen a few pristines, but haven't been able to snag that yet. All right, so that was the Fossil pack. Put these in here. Got the Gold Iono's Belly Bolt EX with the 10. Team Rocket's Tyranitar. I still like that card. Regular gem at 10. And then we had the Leon's Charizard with the 10. I think I got that one off of my son. Yeah, I told them to be on the lookout for minty cards, and that one did pull the gem mint 10. Uh-oh. Those popped off. Put that back there. So got a handful left before we get to the regrades. Got the Mega Gengar EX 8.5. Got a Blastoise EX. I do believe we pulled this one from the pack. Team Rocket's Moltres EX. Had several Mega Kangaskhans ranging from 7.5 to 10. Both of those were outliers. The majority was just regular 10 or 9. Got the Charizard EX. Got a Japanese Alakazam EX from Shiny Treasure. There's a Gardevoir. Got the Pikachu. And then we had a Mew EX from Shiny Treasure as well as a Starmie. Overall, not too bad. I mean, not that great for Japanese holographics. Typically, you want to get a little bit better than a 9. All right, so the first card, we're going to do these one at a time. All right, so this is what it was before. We had a Charizard. I wonder if I can do it like this. I guess you'll know that it wasn't a pristine, but we have the Charizard EX, near mint, mint 8, regraded as a mint 9. So probably not much of a bump in price there, especially when you consider I had to regrade it and you have to wait on the money. But that one was broken out, turned into a 9. Okay, next up we have Vaporeon EX, previously an 8. This one bumped to a 10, so that's probably a decent price bump there. Assuming that Vaporeon really hasn't went down that much in price, but I'm not too sure on that one. All right, here we go. Another special illustration rare was a 7 went up to a 10. Look at that. We have a gem mint 10. Again, you're seeing some condensation. I apologize for that, but this one's really clean. I tried to only break out cards that I thought had a decent chance, but I will say sometimes when you do that, you see what can't really be seen through the case. And well, we might run into that with these. All right, so a walking wake, this was an 8, jumped up to a 9.5. I think there should be a little bit of a bump in price here, but probably not too much. Got the Reshiram and Charizard GX SM247, went from an 8 to a 9. So far, every card has seen a bump. Another Charizard EX Special Illustration Rare was a mint 9, and this one was regraded a 9. So the exact same with this one, so we'll put that one in a different stack. Here we got the upgrades, and we have the same, or I guess down. Pikachu VMAX pulled the 8, stayed an 8. So with this one, same as the Charizard, did not see any increase in the grade. Both companies were in agreement. All right, we have Mimikyu V. This one is a mint 9, and it went up to a gem mint 10. So we did see an increase there. So far, the biggest jump is from a 7 to a 10, and the smallest is stay the same. Mewtwo V-Star was a near mint 8, jumped to a 10. Very happy with that. I love the artwork on that card. And then last but not least, we have Rocket's Nidoking, was a 9. I actually pulled this at Java's shop when we were visiting there, and went down to an 8.5. So this one actually popped down. And I looked at it again. I still don't see any damage on it. I just believe that it's the centering, because it's kind of shifted upwards. But I didn't think it was going to be enough that it would keep it from getting the gem mint 10. But, you know, they said it was a 9, and then CGC said it was a 8.5. So every card but one either stayed the same or went up. We had 2 that stayed the same, and we had 3. We had 7 that increased. So 7 out of 10, not too bad. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a great week. My hand, I'm hoping it doesn't get too gross. So if it does, it's probably going to stay off camera for a little bit. But if you're going to be at Collectopia, I will see you there. And hope you guys are staying warm inside. I hear it's going to be a lot warmer up in Vancouver, Canada. I would have never thought. They're like 30 degrees warmer than when we're at, you know, on the lows. Anyways, their low was like 45 the other night. It's like, man, we were 11 this morning, 5 yesterday. But that's not typical for us. We just seem to be in some kind of Arctic blast right now, and I'm sure it'll be gone by the time we get back, and we'll be warming right up. You guys have a great day.